I'm not lost, but I'm not found. I'm not up, but I'm not down. I love you and I love you and I love you and I love you, and it's so easy. I love you and I love you and I love you and I love you, and it's so hard. But all I'm really sure of is I'm not happy, I'm not sad, particularly down or glad. I'm somewhere in between. I'm not blue, red, black or green, got no favorite thing. I'm somewhere in between. I'm not wrong, but I'm not right. I'm not lazy, but I don't try. I need you and I need you and I need you and I need you, and it's not easy. I need you and I need you and I need you and I need you, and it's not hard. And all I'm really sure of is that I just don't know why. I'm not happy, I'm not sad, particularly down or glad. I'm somewhere in between. I'm not blue, red, black or green, got no favorite thing. I'm somewhere in between. I'm not happy, I'm not sad, particularly down or glad. I'm somewhere in between. I'm not blue, red, black or green, got no favorite thing. I'm somewhere in between. I'm not happy, I'm not sad, particularly down or glad. I'm somewhere in between. I'm not blue, red, black or green, got no favorite thing. I'm somewhere in between.
Hi. Oh. Hello, 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 hello. There we go. Hi, my name's Aaron Short. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is Monday, November 13th. I'm live again at the earlier time of 1 p.m. EST because I have a show tonight. So thanks for joining me early. If you're watching later on, then thanks for watching later on. Okay. So yeah, last Monday I didn't feel myself at all. You could probably tell. What's going on? My camera's going crazy. My camera's going crazy. Hang on. I haven't even changed anything. Okay. Last Monday I didn't feel myself, as you probably could tell. And there's been a weird bug going around. People have been... This camera's... Hang on, I'm going to turn it off and on again. There's been a weird bug going around, I've heard. Like some kind of cold. And... try this again. Isn't that amazing? I never have a problem with the camera, and then today it's kind of pulsing. It's weird. So, let's try that. Yeah, so I'm feeling better, but still not myself. It's really quite bizarre. So I hope everyone watching is feeling good. And it is what it is. We have to get through these things. I still did all my shows last week and all my work last week, and Obviously, that doesn't help. Like, it was no problem. I don't think there was any issue with the performances because of how I felt, but obviously that then delays getting better, I guess, right? Because you're not giving yourself a chance to rest and recover. So I'm just going to look at my camera and see if it's pulsing still. I think it's okay. So that always happens when there's not quite enough light. The camera can't lock on with the autofocus. But hopefully it's not going wrong again because I already had it repaired once. Anyway, let's continue. So, formerly known as T says, all right, Aaron, hello to all in the chat. Good to see you. Patsy Smith, hello, Aaron, everyone in the chat. Hope you're well. Bernard says hi. Nick says hi. Looking forward to the show. Thank you. Rex and Maddox is listening at the gym. Always feel guilty that you're in the gym, Rex. Rosanna's here. Good. I'm glad. I was worried Rosanna and Lee would be at work, but they're here, which is great. Nick has a question. I'll come back to that later, Nick. And P Ninja. Oh, of course. No point saying P Ninja. May as well say Pooh. Hi, Pooh. So cheers, everyone. I'm going to drink some hot tea in today's stream. I'll give you an update of my week, and I will talk today about Rainsong. Rainsong guitars, the guitar behind me that I always have hanging on the wall, because it's made from carbon fiber and is impervious to the heat and humidity in dry weather conditions, are actually going to be closing down. So we'll talk about that today and my thoughts on it. Paul, how you doing? Good to see you. So let's talk about Rainsong guitars. Let me talk about my week. I didn't post any videos because I spent the week just focusing on doing the shows the best I could with, not being completely 100%. So no videos this week, unfortunately. I told you last week I would talk about the HX Stomp XL. I did get that. And I'm really enjoying it. And I'll talk about that because it's part of my journey of selling off a lot of my gear. So currently for electric guitar, I have way too much for electric guitar. I have all the plugins on the computer. I have the Quad Cortex, which I really love, and the power amp and cab for that, which I really love. My actual Mesa amp, which is a 100-watt tube amp, which I really love. I'd never take it to a gig because it's so heavy and valuable, but I really do love the thing. And then I have my PA system, so I have a way to amplify the sound anyway. And then I have a smaller Mesa amp, which I was about to sell, but they just went on sale, which is what always seems to happen to me. And so, I've got the Amp 1 rig as well, which I'm going to possibly make a video on and then sell. But all these ways to amplify the electric guitar that I do not need, basically. I don't even play many electric guitar gigs. I like to have a very good solution at home with headphones, which would be the Quad Cortex or the plugins. The plugins would do, honestly. And then when I do play a gig, I was just thinking, I had a 50-watt expensive tube amp a few years ago and played a wedding, and I could barely hear the amp. It was a complete waste of time. Widdy, I want to come to your point. Stick around. It was a complete waste of time. You couldn't hear the amp anyway because the band was so loud that even a 50-watt amp couldn't be heard. And I didn't love all the channels on it. And the problem when you don't love all the channels on an amp is that you're stuck with those channels. Whereas with digital, you can just change them out and tweak them, right? So, I also told a story last week of I played direct and I got through the gig. So if I can play direct and get through a bar gig, I can do anything with anything, right? At the end of the day, that's the reality of the situation. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm so impressed with it. The Stomp XL is a great form factor. I happened to get a very good price on it, which was the main reason I got it. It sounds really good because since I had one of these before, the great thing with digital is that since I had one before, there's new amps with new amp modeling techniques, brand new cabs, brand new reverbs, and a higher bit rate or fidelity, I think it was. They did something like that. So at the end of the day, it's almost like a new unit anyway, which is really cool. And it sounds really good. So I've tried that through the effects return of my little tube amp, but it sounds incredible, especially with some EQ to make it sound bigger. And I tried it through some other way, and it all sounded great. But then I thought, you know what? I've got a QSC CP8 speaker. Just use that. Use that behind me to feel like there's sound coming from behind me, like we're used to with a guitar amp. And then once you're in the PA, you're coming through the PA and the monitors anyway. So that's probably going to drown out any amplifier that you own anyway. So I think what I'm going to do is basically use the Stomp XL and the CP8, which is £25 total for any potential band show. And then have the quad cortex if I want to do a band show where I need to plug in some other stuff because that's got the 4 inputs. And then I've got my tube amp, which I'll leave at home, but I could always take out to a gig if I really wanted to. And I think that's enough. I think the rest can all go. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And I will definitely make that video. I mean, A, because I know people will watch it because people are into the Helix stuff. But I think it's really interesting to come back to a product years later and feel so differently about it. And it makes so much sense with digital because they can change everything. Like just because you tried a Helix in 2015 and didn't like it, it's almost unfair now to call a Helix today a Helix because it's not. Yes, it has the same interface and software and has the same, some of the old cabs and amps that you're used to. But it also has brand new amps that are modeled differently, brand new cabs, brand new choruses, brand new delays, brand new drive pedals. If you think about it, you can make a patch on that thing today, which 2 years ago wouldn't have existed at all. I think that's incredible. That was supposed to mute. I don't think it did. Apologies. I'm clearly still not 100%. Has anyone else got this kind of head cold going around? Let me know. Luckily, it hasn't affected the singing, knock on wood, which is the most important thing. But I really thought it would have gone by now. Anyway, I'm sure it'll go soon. So, Pooh says, just call me Pooh. I don't like saying Pooh all the time on the channel. That's why I wanted to call you P Ninja, but then P and Pooh. So, can I just call you Fred? And can I call you Fred? I don't know if Pooh is a word. Well, I guess that's not. I worry that it'll get flagged by YouTube, but then again, I guess they never have all these years, so maybe we're okay. But I also know someone that got their account taken down from Facebook for having a video of a cover, single cover up. And yet I see people live streaming every night to Facebook and they don't get taken down. So a lot of this stuff is just a matter of time, I feel. And that the internet is now clamping down a lot. Like I just heard they're shutting down Omegle. I never used Omegle. Omegle was a site where you could go on there like this with your camera and basically it would just connect you to someone else and you talk. And then someone else, someone else, someone else. So it's like socializing. But when you think about it, when you think what could go wrong with that, there's many things that can go wrong. Now, many things went right. I discovered there's a rapper, really good rapper, guy from California who does freestyles. He'll say, give me 3 words and he'll do a freestyle. I think he's great. Can't remember his name right now, but he's awesome. And he was doing that. He was going on Omegle saying, give me 3 words and doing a freestyle. That's fantastic. But of course, the seedy side of the internet is the problem, and that's why they're having to close down. But I'm seeing everywhere now. Everyone's clamping down on piracy. Everyone's clamping down on password sharing. Everyone's clamping down on all that, anything like that now. So it's only going to get more strict, I feel. Woody's got a comment about the Cole Clark. So please explain more, Woody. You said you bought another Cole Clark to give them another chance. What was the problem? Remind me, what was the problem with the other one? My Blackwood convinced you to buy another one. What's your preferred? I'll tell you. I've got some more thoughts about Cole Clark guitars, and I'll share those in a second. Let's go back to the first question, and please get your questions in. Today will be about an hour because I do have to get to this gig. I'm charging the EV Everse 8 right now. I actually ordered a cable that will power a TC Play acoustic pedal, which I thought was fantastic, but the cable doesn't work. So I've got to contact them and get a different cable from them. That'll be a really cool thing as well. A couple of things I've discovered with the Bose is that the USB output, the USB out power port cannot power a Play acoustic. That's worth knowing. And there's no phantom power. So these are all good points for a future video. Definitely my current two favorites are the Bose for the wireless functionality and the size, and the Everse 8 for the volume and the size, definitely. But they both tick very different boxes. I got that question again during the week. Which one's best? There is no best. It depends what you want, what you're trying to do. That will definitely be something to talk about in the future, but I'm still figuring things out. I want to make sure that the Everse will power a Play Acoustic before I continue. And I've also, a little thing that no one knows, I believe. Maybe, or not yet. I'm going to get to that. That'll be the main part of today. Something like the little, cool little, I sometimes hear these cool little things that I can share. And I know you're into gear and stuff, so I'm sure you're interested. And also, you know, I'm always talking about TC Helicon. Well, you can't buy the TC Helicon pedals right now. They're all out of stock, and many people are saying you won't get them again. Many people are buying them used at very high prices. But actually, they are currently redesigning them for the chip shortage, and they are on the way. So if you're waiting for a Voice Live 3 Extreme or any of those TC pedals that are currently out of stock, don't pay over the odds for one on Reverb. If you can find one used at a fair price, then get it. But otherwise, wait for these new ones that are coming. Not a new model, but you know, the same model but redesigned with current parts. And but once they're available, I'll definitely see if I can get one in my hands to make sure it does work as well as the old ones. And then I'd love to go on a. I'm looking for opportunities right now. I'm looking for opportunities that are more relevant to what I do. And I'd love to do something like with them about that product because I use it every night. And that'll definitely, I'm glad that they're bringing it back to life. That's great news. So let's start with these couple of questions here. Okay. I've got a lot to say, so stick around, people. This will be good, I think. You're asking me very relevant questions here. So we had one from Nick. Of all the John Mayer signature guitars through the years, what's been your favorite and why? There's definitely something up with my eCam software because it keeps opening the camera launcher. Don't know what's going on. I just have to ignore it. So the thing is with John Mayer signature guitars, there's been so many. There's been the Fender guitar, which I think was a great guitar, and I'm sad that they killed it. I'm sad that he left. You've got the Silver Skies that I never really got on with. The Silver Sky SE I preferred, but I still would rather play the Fender or even a Sir myself. And then you've got all the Martins. Okay, which I mean, there's a Stagecoach, there's a D45, there's obviously the OM28 John Mayer, there's the OMJM. I mean, they're all so different. They're all so different. It's really hard to comment. I mean, I like Martins, I like OMs. Obviously, the OM28 John Mayer would be one of my favorite models they ever made. Also influenced now by the fact they're worth so much money. Now, it's important to remember sometimes we want stuff because it's worth money, not because we want it. Electric wise, yeah, I still say the Fenders were the best. Yeah, you know, as you know, Nick, I'm selling mine only because I have a hardtail Strat that looks the same and is lighter and is hardtail and is not a signature, and I'd rather not play signatures unless I have to. So that's the only reason. The actual guitar itself is fantastic. So for me, it's the obvious ones. It's the Fender Strat in the three-tone Sunburst, and also the Martin OM28 John Mayer. Classic guitars, can't go wrong. Very, very cool. Now, it's not to say they're for everybody, because obviously, for the reasons I just said, right? The OM28 John Mayer has a narrow nut. One of the reasons I sold mine was the narrow nut. Nothing against that. I would happily play that, but I just decided I'd rather have the 1 3/4 inch. I mean, they're very similar. But for some people, that is a deal breaker. So obviously, they were very specialized towards him. The way the trem was locked against the body on the Strat, 3 single coil pickups, not a humbucker. Very, very specialized towards him, but classic guitars, aren't they? 3 SSS Fender Strat and a Martin OM28, basically classic guitars. So as you know, I often do gravitate towards the classics, even though lately I'm gigging guitars that are not classics. But as you know, as a fan, they're the 2 guitars that stick out to me. The others didn't really interest me that much, to be honest with you. So I hope that answers your question. Widdy, I'll come back to that in a second. So, Quilted Maple, we'll talk about Rainsong shortly. Andrew just purchased an FSX3. Congratulations. Has the atmosphere pickup. Yeah. So with the Yamaha, that model, the X denotes the pickup system, and it is a very good pickup system in that guitar. That's definitely the best value all-round guitar on the market for an electroacoustic. Your review is really informative. After adding a bit of treble, the mix, it opens up the sound. Yeah, it's a bit on the dull side, isn't it? I agree. It does benefit from a bit of external EQ. But it does sound very natural. That pickup system sounded great with the LR Baggs VoicePrint DI. There was only really two pickups that I liked with the VoicePrint DI. The K&K, that kind of blew me away, as you saw in the video when I was live with them. And then the Yamaha, I tried that at a gig. It really helped those two pickups. My only problem with the VoicePrint DI is it's got a bit of a background whine that you can hear with in-ear monitors, which I've told them many times I'd like them to fix. Or maybe fix is unfair. Look into. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Apparently a lot of the problems I have are just me, right? I'm crazy. No, Bags didn't say that, but many people have said that over the years. But it's not true. So Widdy bought a Cole Clark that was all silk oak, and it sounded shrill on the high end. The Blackwood is a different animal together. I'm still needing to tame some of the high frequencies. Interesting. And do you mean in the pickup or the guitar acoustically? Here's the thing with Cole Clark. As much as a fan, I am a fan, as you know. There's a couple of thoughts I have on Cole Clark guitars lately. One is that they keep changing the spec, and it makes it hard for me to stay on the train. Not that I wouldn't recommend them, but it makes me have to keep check of things because, I mean, they changed the pickup, didn't they, to a new pickup system, which still had a button to make it sound like the old system, to be fair. But there we go, the new pickup system. Then there was 1 year where my battery compartment needed to be replaced, so I was telling people to be careful buying a guitar from that point of time. I mean, they will just send you a new battery compartment, you replace it, it's not really a problem, but there we go. Then, and I guess that was a result of the new pickup. Then you got the new models with the thinner necks. I think the new models might be moving to thinner necks as well. They're always constantly tweaking them. And then the other side of that coin is that the pickup is so sensitive with that body sensor that I really feel they all sound very different plugged in. Not very different, but more than any other guitar, the personality of the guitar is reflected in the plugged in sound, for better and for worse. So I have found that on some guitars that I've played, certain notes like jump out too loud. Maybe they're too loud on the guitar and they jump out therefore louder on the pickup. And tonally as well. The tone of that guitar really comes through that pickup system. So that's something to watch out for. That could be a great thing or it could be a bad thing. A more neutral pickup like the Atmosphere or the Maton system. I've been playing the Maton lately as well. A more sort of neutral, just undersaddle with a mic like that. And the mic in the Maton only picks up the high frequencies. I feel like that's more consistent. Simply because it's not representing the guitar quite as much. You know what I mean? It's a weird problem to have. You'd think I would say the Cole Clark sounds like the guitar unplugged. You think that'd be a wonderful thing, but actually it can have its downsides as well. And it's another reason to try before you buy. Buy from somewhere with a return policy. And obviously, make sure everything's good with it. So, I do like the Blackwood though. I see what you're saying there. I think the Blackwood is the one to amplify myself. My preferred EQ settings I have covered in a video. If you look at my videos on the Cole Clark Widdy, you'll see there's a video where I show the settings. I think it's in the review of the pickup system itself. So do check that out first for me, please, because it'll take a while to go through that right now. But I do have preferred settings, but also you got to tweak it and dial it in yourself because, like I said, the guitar will reflect things. My guitar has too much low end, so I cut a lot of the low end out, and from the board as well. You're saying your guitar has too much high end, so you might need to cut the high end. It's very much dependent on the guitar itself, as I just said, and also what you're plugging into and how you're playing and what you're playing, as I always say. I got that question again the other day. What's better, the Anthem or the hi-fi or whatever? I'm just like, come on, you need to tell me the guitar. And I'm not just saying this either, so people hire me for one of my I do these consultations there, right? Like $50 for half an hour to talk you through the settings and what you need to buy. I'm not saying this to sell those. I'm sure it comes across that way, but it's just the truth. You cannot ask someone what the best is. You know, you can't just walk up to someone in the street and say, "Should I buy a Honda or well, whatever." I don't know about cars, but you know, you can't just say that. You can't just say to someone, "Should I buy an iPhone or an Android?" The questions then are going to be like in that scenario, right? Like what other computers do you own? If you own Macs, then iPhone. If you own PCs, then probably Android or Mac, Google computers, probably Android. Do you need certain access to customize the phone? Yes or no? Do you like the apps that are currently available on those stores? Are there certain gadgets you use that use apps that are available in one store and not the other? There's many questions to be asked. That's just the reality of it. There's no yes or no answer. And as I just said with the Cole Clark pickup, it's the same thing. For me, it's what strings are you using, what guitar is it in, how does that guitar sound acoustically, how does that guitar sound plugged in flat, what are you plugging it into, are you going through a pedal, a mixer, a preamp before you go into that thing, what settings have you got on there, what rooms are you playing in, what kind of music are you playing with a pick, are you playing with fingers? Okay, now record it for me, now play that back. Okay, what do you feel? I feel it's too bright. Okay, bring the treble down. Also, the mic adds treble, so bring the mic down. How do you feel now? I feel there's too much mid. Okay, so mid-range, you can either bring the body sensor back slightly or cut the mid slightly. So, or you could do a combination of the two. It took me a good 6 months to dial mine in. Not saying that it needed it. The guitar sounded great from day one. But to really get it dialed in how I wanted it to be, which may not be how you want it to be either, took me a good 3 to 6 months, I would say. And then those settings really worked for that particular guitar. And if I got another Cole Clark, I'd probably use different settings, honestly. I wouldn't use the same settings anyway. And that's the problem I have with all these preset sellers online, you know. Yeah, you can buy my presets. Yeah, but you used a Gibson Les Paul to make those presets through these headphones. And I'm playing a Fender Strat through a studio monitor. It's going to sound different. And I'm still going to have to tweak it anyway. So why not just make my own? All right. So, you know, let us know how that journey goes for you. I'm interested. I've been playing the Maton, and it's a very different system. It doesn't have the body percussiveness, which means you can't drum on it as much. It also means it doesn't pick up as much, you know, sort of ambient noise from your clothing and buttons and things like that, which could be a good thing. Acoustically, those guitars sound fantastic. I think they're almost up there with the Martins, honestly. And when I did my comparison video, they actually did better than the Martin, which is amazing. But again, it depends on the models you're comparing. But again, very different system. You know, when you have a microphone and an undersaddle versus an undersaddle with a body sensor and a small microphone. So the Maton's a big mic and an undersaddle. The Cole Clark's a tiny mic, a body sensor, and an undersaddle, basically. Or when I say undersaddle, it's that style of pickup. It's actually a palathetic pickup. But very different feeling and very different sounding, you know. But I would say neither is better or worse. I'd say currently my favorite systems are the Cole Clark and the Maton are probably I think the Maton sounds more natural because of the microphone they use. But I think the Cole Clark has more dynamics and power. So I put them kind of joint first place. Probably. If I had to choose, maybe the Cole Clark. If I had to put one at first place, I'd probably put the Cole Clark there for the versatility and then the Maton. But I'd really like to tie those two together because they are so similar and so great in their own way. And then below that, probably the Anthem still. Yeah. And then below that, you know, all the other ones. But again, as I say that, I'm thinking of the application. I mean, I don't hate the K&K. I just hate it for my application. For some people, it's the right thing. Julian, how you doing? Bedouin, how you doing? And Doc, how you doing? You see, you're doing it to me again, people. Don't do that. Never say that to me. David's funny. Wait, David, when have you helped me dial in the helix? Never. Okay. I just think it's hilarious that because I've told David many times that I just don't like the helix, and now I'm actually quite enjoying it. I could be honest, I like it now, but I really believe it's because they've made all these changes over. I mean, he was saying that the new, and he's right, the new reverbs are so good. Well, let me say the new reverbs are so much better than the old ones. Now, it's not to say the old ones are not usable or good for certain applications. They may well be. They may well be, and they use less DSP. But the new reverbs, when you compare them back to back, are just so much better. It's unbelievable. So, yeah, but please never ask me the question which is better. Nothing is better, and I'm not saying that to sit on the fence. Oh, you have got an 808. Yeah, but you see, it's the same thing. I've got an 808 Nashville and a Cole Clark Blackwood. So, oh, excuse me. Hang on. Just muting to clear myself. Hopefully next Monday we'll be back to regular time and I'll be back to my regular self. Based on those two guitars, I could tell you that the Maton sounds better acoustically than the Cole Clark, in my opinion. The Cole Clark, as I just said, has more body percussive sounds, if that's what you want, than the Maton. And then the Maton has a sort of a more smoother, natural plugged-in sound, if that's what you want. So that's if you gave me a different Maton and a different Cole Clark, I might tell you something different. So I always say this, always base this stuff on the guitar itself. It's like when people say Maton guitars don't sound good acoustically. That's such a stupid thing to say. You know, Martin guitars sound great. That's such a stupid thing to say. I'm sorry, not all Martin guitars sound great. Not all Rainsong guitars sound great. Not all Gibson guitars sound great. Not all Gibson guitars sound terrible. Not all Martin guitars sound terrible. It's about that guitar. It's the guitar itself has so much variation. I've owned so many guitars now. They all vary. And even when you adjust the neck relief and put new strings on, it sounds different again. Right? All these things affect it. But based on those two guitars, that's how I feel. I really feel they tie. I think the Maton as an all-round guitar is my favorite, but the Cole Clark pickup has something that the Maton will never have, which is that body sensor. And I mean, if you do a lot of percussive looping, then you need the Cole Clark for sure. But you should compare your two as well and let us know what you think. Nick says, being mostly an electric player who plays tube amps and pedals, I'm very interested and confused trying to get into modelers. Too many options. Now, I agree. That is the problem with modelers. There's too many of them. There's too many options. Now, it's the same question, Nick, as I was just talking about earlier. It's exactly the same thing. Where are you playing? What are you playing? How often are you playing? Right? It's all those same questions. So here's the thing. You play tube amps and pedals now. Here's the first point. Let's say, again, this is all down to you. And you, not you, but you, right? Let's say you have a lightweight tube amp and a small pedal board, and you are in love with the tone, and you know how to mic it up at a gig, and it sounds phenomenal. Don't even bother looking at anything else. You're done. Maybe get a little HX Stomp or something very small like that, just to mess around with, just to add a few effects if you need to try some things out, and as a backup, because it's so small and light. All right. But if your amp is causing you back pain, if your pedal board is not working out and you have no space for the new pedals that you need, and you need to go digital, then that's when you look at the options and decide again, what do I actually need? So is size important? If size isn't important because you drive to your gigs, then you can look at the bigger ones with the more foot switches and the more power. if size is important, then obviously you look at the smaller ones. The reason I like the HX Stomp XL is that it's light enough to carry in the guitar bag to the gig. If I was driving, I always say this, if I was driving to all my gigs, I would probably have something like the Helix or the FM9 or even the Big Fractal, a bigger unit, because the size and weight wouldn't be such an issue at that point. But they're a lot to get your head around, these modelers. I mean, it took me years, and I still feel like I don't really know what I'm doing. Because, I mean, today, I loaded up an amp. Sorry for all the cold, by the way. Today, hang on. Today, I loaded up the pedal through my PA speaker, and I did like high cuts and low cuts. And, it's still not a matter of just plugging it in and playing. You still want to make a preset, decide on what you need and what you don't, add some EQ, so I'm okay with that, because people say, well, with an amp, you just plug in and go. Yeah, you do. But what if you need to make changes to that? Then you can't. Like, if you've got a 2-channel amp and you only like one channel, you're stuck with the other channel. With digital, you can change that channel to something else. And even yesterday, I was playing my small combo amp, and it sounded anemic, the actual amp itself. But putting it through an EQ block on the HX Stomp made it sound like a 1x12. It was a 1x10. It made it sound like a 1x12 suddenly. So the digital adds that flexibility that you don't get from analog. With analog, you've got to be so lucky that it does everything that you want all the time. It's so rare to find that. I've owned so many amps, and many of them they just didn't sound very good. They needed help from, I think sometimes we think in our minds that tube amps sound amazing just because they're tube amps. Now, some of them do sound amazing, but those ones tend to be expensive and heavy, and do you want to carry them around with you? Michael, what's up, buddy? Nick, if I was you, I'd do something like if you have an audio interface already, I'd get something like Helix Native Demo and try that out to see if you like it or not. I definitely think you should have something as a backup and as a quiet solution, like a practice solution. I definitely think I think everyone should have something like that in their possession. Just one thing, not all 10 of them like David Eidelberg. Just kidding, buddy. Actually, I'm not, but okay. No problem, buddy. So let us know. I mean, you should compare your 2 guitars and let us know next time which one you prefer and why. Widdy, the main reason I've been playing the Maton is because I'm thinking about moving to stainless steel frets, and I'm too nervous to send the guitar to have that done and spend all that money. So, Maton do have a model with stainless steel frets. I'm thinking about selling my Maton and getting that one with the stainless steel frets already in it, if I can find a good price on one. And that's the reason why I'm trying out the Maton. And the Cole Clark is wearing out. The frets are almost worn out now. So that's the reason, more than anything. If I wish Cole Clark would use stainless steel frets in their higher models. So many softball. What's a softball? You started it, buddy. Okay, I'll stop. I've been very interested in the regular HX Stomp, so I'm very curious to hear your new experience. Okay. Yeah, HX Stomp is a great pedal. It's portable. I told a friend of mine to get one the other day, because if let's say you own a rig like the Amp One from Thomas Blug or a tube amp, and you've got a pedal board. Let's say you've got a rig that you love and you're very happy with. There's absolutely no reason not to add the HX Stomp, the regular HX Stomp, because it's not much bigger than 2 pedals, and it is a pain in the ass to power it, to be fair, but most modern power supplies can power it. And what you can do with that is you can just leave it turned off. You haven't got to use it at all. You just turn the thing off, right? But let's say one day you think, oh, I need a phaser pedal, and I don't own one. Just turn that thing on, load up a phaser, and use it as a phaser. You love it? You want to get a real phaser? Go out and buy a boutique phaser. Add it to your pedal board. Next week after that, oh, I need a new chorus pedal. Try the choruses in the pedal, etc., etc., etc. Oh, I need a looper pedal. I don't want to put a looper on my board. I don't loop enough to bother. but then one day I need a looper. There you go. There's a looper in the HX Stomp. It's a great do-it-all pedal. And then if the board and the amp goes down, or if the amp goes down, turn on the HX Stomp, plug straight into the HX Stomp, load up an amp, and play the gig. So I really think I think that's one of the best pedals they make. Just the regular HX Stomp, because it's a great backup, it's a great utility pedal, and it will get you through a gig if needed as well, very easily. Even though it's got 3 buttons, and especially if you've got your pedal board with you, because you can plug the pedal board into it. So I definitely think you should get one. Actually, I think you should get one from Sweetwater with my affiliate link. No, I think you should get one from Sweetwater and try it for the 30 days. And if you really don't bond with it, then send it back. Oh, yeah, most jokes are made in jest. Is that the phrase? You have 12 modelers, sold the HX Floor and FM9. Oh, they're good ones too. Yeah, I really think I could get by with just the. I mean, if you got Helix Native, which has unlimited DSP, and you've got good studio monitors and interface, which I do, that and the HX Stomp XL for live gigs is all you really need. I do like the Quad Cortex. I like where it's going, but I also do feel like I'm part of a science experiment, and that's fun. And it's people will say, well, it's good for the channel because I can download the new firmware and make content. Well, yeah, I guess, but I also feel like I'm part of the development team. I don't really like that anymore. You know, I want to see. The great thing with the Helix stuff is that it's kind of end of life now in a way. So what you're buying is something that's really refined and the best it's ever going to be. Whereas with these, I mean, the Fender Tone Master Pro, it's just like you're just like jumping on the train that's speeding off. You know, I mean, it's so stressful. I'm kind of over that. Of course, you get that, but when they release something new, you get that adrenaline of like, I must buy it, I must have it, I mustn't miss out. It's gonna be amazing. And then you turn it on and think, well, hang on, it doesn't do this, it doesn't do this. There's this bug. Are they going to update that? Are they going to add this? Blah 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 blah. Just my opinion. And of course, none of this is be and end all opinions, because tomorrow they could fix all those bugs and add things like what I'm saying about the Helix stuff. Didn't like the Helix stuff 3 years ago. Now I think it's pretty cool because they've added these new things. They've replaced all the things with new things. Fender could do the same next year. They could release version 2.0, which completely changes the way the whole unit works. You know, that's the thing with digital. That's the good thing about digital, I think. So Nick says, that's what I'm looking for. Have more options for my tone without having to carry tons of pedals. Yeah, so get the HX Stomp and add it to your board, to your existing pedals that you love, and then gradually work it into the chain. There's absolutely no reason not to do that. And there will be sales soon for the Black Friday. Definitely. Gary got the Bose S1 Pro. Just tried Bose Wi-Fi dongles to connect the S1 Pro Plus to the Fishman Artist in my small room. I was getting some popping that is very annoying. Well, Gary, you're clearly not watching my channel enough. If you watched my channel, you would know that I had the Bose S1 Pro Plus. And I had popping noises. And I downloaded the latest firmware and it fixed the popping noises. So, my friend, go and watch the video. Go and watch the video, but to keep things short for you, update the firmware via your computer to the latest firmware. Make sure that the S1 Pro Plus updates and make sure that the dongles update as well. They will update when you put them into the unit. Helix is dead. Long live the Helix. Ugh. I really like the Tone Master Pro as is. The only thing I really want is an auto engage for the wah. It took Helix and QC years to add. Yeah, it'd be nice to see. The big thing with the Fender thing is that thing about the cab. That really bothers me. There's a great video I sent you where someone's just put a picture of the Tone Master Pro cab, the FR12 cab, and it just has the audio. I mean, it just says it all. There's like the room noise and the picture of the cab, and then you hear them turn it on, and then it's like, there we go. How can you debate that? That's it, right? I just turned on the what is it, CP8 speaker, the one that I used in my comparison video for that, and plugged in the HX Stomp XL, and I heard nothing like that. Nothing. So craziness. All right, let's talk about Rainsong. Rainsong guitars are closing. And I want to talk about it because, as you know, I've had quite a long relationship with them in a way for a while. Now, I can't say I'm completely surprised for a few reasons, which I'll get into. And of course, there's also reasons why companies close down, right? We know that. It's not, for example, it's not always that they're not doing well. It's not always that they are doing well, right? There's different reasons why it could happen, but I don't really know the reason. Okay, one thing I've taken away from today's video, you've all got to watch more of my videos. All right, so Rainsong. So the history is they were the first carbon fiber guitars. They've been around for a long time. I was playing one at my shows back in 2015-ish. They did a thing where I got this smoky guitar. I bought it, but I got like they did a discount if you then actually used the thing. And I used it on the channel for some videos, but then I gigged it, and I gigged it for 12 months, which for me is always a huge deal. If I gig a guitar for 12 months straight, it means that it's really working well. That was a great guitar. I put the Anthem, I upgraded it to the Anthem, and it just worked great. But guess what happened? I wore the frets out because they don't use stainless steel frets. I think if anyone should use stainless steel frets, it's carbon guitars. So I did wear out the frets on that guitar, and I sold it rather than have it refretted, which is, maybe I should just have guitars refretted. I just hate the idea of it. It really bugs me having to get a guitar refretted. I don't know. Because I know something's going to happen, I'm going to send it to someone and they're going to scratch it, chip it, and it'll be not going to do it right. I don't know. One day I'll try it, but. So, they had dealers. You see them in stores sometimes. They were at Sam Ash, a few other places occasionally, see them, but not really enough. I didn't feel they made enough of an impact because they weren't exposed enough to guitar players. That's my thoughts. So, because of that, I knew them the whole time, and I helped them at one of the NAMM show before we all closed down. I helped them at that show, and then I got their vintage WS with the wood top, which was cool, looked cool, but I didn't like the sound as much as the full carbon. And then when they did this deal recently on the guitar behind me, I got that one, and I made some videos about that. So they stopped selling through dealers and they started selling through their website. And they made a really nice website. I love this website. It uses Wix, which is the company that I moved to. And I thought it was good. Now, I had my reservations. I was thinking, well, selling direct, is it going to work out? And I don't know if it worked out or not, honestly. I do think the site is cool. I do think some people want to see guitars in person before they buy them. I do think carbon guitars are more consistent than other wood guitars. So I would be happy to recommend one of these buying from the website direct than I would like a Cole Clark for sure, or any wood guitar for sure. But they've been around a while. The owner of the company is going to retire. It'd be nice if someone bought them. I do have a few reservations though, because I found a problem with my guitars where there wasn't a hole, the saddle slot wasn't long enough for the Anthem pickup, and I had to extend it, and I hated doing that myself, even though you could do it yourself. And they never made that change. And then I always wanted them to do stainless steel frets. They made a whole blog post about, we're not going to do stainless steel frets. So I feel there's a couple of things that were preventing me from actually 100% recommending them and being on board 100%. But that's just my opinion. They did have their fans. They were cool guitars. Some of the carbon guitars just don't look good to me. They look too futuristic. I like the fact these look quite traditional in their shape and styling. Even the carbon ones. And it's weird because they just relaunched the Black Ice line like a few weeks ago. So that is odd. Now, needless to say, some of these are on sale right now. If you're looking for a guitar, some of these are on sale, so it might be a good time to buy one. But yeah, that's kind of it. So the other thing is there are other companies now doing a lot of companies doing carbon guitars now, and doing them well, and doing them with stainless steel frets. Still built in. There's Close Guitars. I want to reach out. Well, I have reached out to them. I don't think they're interested, but I basically said to them, Rainsong are closing. I'd like to try one of your guitars with a view of kind of recommending that now as the carbon fiber guitar, because, and not just as a cash grab, because they do look very traditional. They do look very good, and they do have some cool features that these don't. Like you can take the neck off to travel with it. They come in a gig bag. I never understood why Rainsongs came in hard shell cases and not a gig bag. That's another thing that used to bug me. The closed guitars do have stainless steel frets, right? But I'm not. It's not enough for me to buy a guitar. That's the thing. They offered to sell me a guitar at a discount in return for making videos for them. And I said, well, first of all, I've got to make sure I like the guitar. That goes without saying, because the reason I recommended the Rainsongs for so long is that I did like them. I actually like the guitars. And I did some comparisons where people liked them too over wooden guitars, which was amazing, I thought, at the time. But I'm certainly not going to buy a guitar, even at a reduced price, because what am I going to do then? This is just me talking candidly now to people that are interested in the YouTube thing. There's no point me having a Rainsong and then buying another carbon guitar and having two. That's how I got in the mess of having to sell lots of stuff. So I'm not going to do that. If they're willing to let me try one and then we can figure out some sort of ongoing relationship thing, I'd be really into that. But I am not going to just keep buying stuff just to make videos on it anymore. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. But I am sad that Rainsong are going. I didn't work with them in any sort of capacity. But as you know, if you watch the channel, Dave was on for interviews. I always enjoyed those. He was talking about what they were up to, and I just liked supporting a smaller company from America and knowing the people. And it was just nice. It was a nice thing, But I do think there's more they could have done. I do think we could have done. They and we and some other people could have done more to promote the guitars. I think they could have done more to the guitars themselves based on feedback. Like I gave them several pointers, and I felt like they weren't really interested in listening to what I thought. So there was a few things there. I also know that the Bags Anthem Stage Pro pickup on the side, some people like that, some people didn't. I like the pickup, but at the end of the day, you've got to be okay with that being permanently in the guitar. So yeah, I'm disappointed, but I also get it. It makes sense. People retire. I wish I knew exactly the reason. All the ins and outs and all the details. It'd be kind of cool if someone bought them. It'd be kind of cool if someone like Taylor or Martin bought them and started to put this into their own lineup. Like, why don't Martin make a carbon guitar? They can still use their factory and their techniques, but make it out of carbon fiber. Why not? Why can't they do that? They sound good. Give them stainless steel frets. Make them look, tweak the looks a bit. Give us a nice gig bag. Give us, make the neck come off. Give us a real carbon fiber travel guitar with Martin on the headstock. Why not? I know it's an outrageous thing to say, but it's pretty obvious to me that wood is severely in short supply, and it is all just going to run out. So there we go. That's my thoughts. Let me know what yours are. I hadn't really put them together very well. That's just like off the cuff thoughts about it. So I hope I said the right thing. What I mean is, I hope I didn't say the wrong thing. David won't buy the cab until it's fixed. Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't like that. There you go. McPherson Sable is an awesome carbon fiber guitar. Evo Gold. So I would reach out. I like. Let me show you these close guitars. Gary, who is here, has an emerald guitar which looks phenomenal, and I love all the specs, but it's on the heavier side. These close guitars are on the light side. McPherson, I have a feeling they're heavy too, aren't they? Or they don't use a pickup that I like, or something like that. I don't know. There's always something with these guitars, right? But I actually really like these. I like the look of these. Look, there's one here. You got the travel guitar, and the necks come off too. So, like with this travel guitar, if you're traveling, you can unscrew 4 bolts, and the neck comes off the guitar, and you can travel with it in a backpack. That's cool. But there's a full-size one. Let's see if I can find it. Grand color. There's a grand colorway and a mini grand colorway, which is also cool. But the grand colorway is like their full-size guitar. This is like the guitar I have on the wall behind me. But it's got a really nice colorway. You can take the neck off. It's got stainless steel frets. They use a Plek machine. You know, it's great. It's really great. The price isn't that much more than what the Rainsong behind me was. And I think it's worth it for the stainless steel frets. The headstock's a little bit questionable, but I mean, the overall look is great. I think the headstock looks okay. Yeah, I think it looks great. I really like that. That looks more like a kind of what's the company? Breedlove. That looks more like a Breedlove than a Martin, where the Rainsongs tend to look more like Martin guitars. But it still looks traditional. It's light. It has stainless steel frets. You can take the neck off to travel with it, so it can be a good travel guitar. I would definitely check one of those out. I'm not going to buy one, but I would definitely check one out. And if I really liked it, I'd probably replace the Rainsong with it, honestly, because I'm just so into the stainless steel frets now. I mean, eventually my Rainsong frets are going to wear out. I'm going to have it refretted. I don't think it's worth it. I really don't. So they could call it Marvin. What, the carbon fiber guitar? I mean, it's got to be in the future somewhere, hasn't it? Vito in, what's up, man? I had an Emerald X20. The Saber just sounds way better. Yes, £5. A lot of those carbon guitars are £5. It makes no sense because there's no bracing, right? So why are they so heavy? A Journey overhead. I think of all the current guitars on the market that could replace like the Rainsong thing, for me it's this. Because they also do a traditional looking one. Look, this looks a bit more traditional. And I think there's one that's full size as well. Yeah, Dreadnought. See? See, look. So there you go. Dreadnought. I think that looks great. I like that. I like the color of the... Is that a wooden bridge? Or just the color of it? Looks great. Oh, that's the hybrid. Okay. So the full carbon one. Yeah, I think it looks great. I mean, what do they sound like? I don't know. They can't sound that much different to the Rainsong, but I'd have to hear one in person. And what does the neck feel like? Blah 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 blah. But I also like the fact they do carbon necks. This is really cool. So if you have if you have an existing guitar, they will make you a carbon fiber neck with stainless steel frets that's plecked, and you just add it to your existing guitar. The neck is lighter than your old neck. It's carbon fiber. It won't warp. It won't fret sprout. It won't ding. And the frets won't wear out. I love that so much. They also make their own electric guitars too. But the thought of getting like just a guitar you love and just changing the neck, and you keep your old neck, you still have the old neck. You just put the new neck on. I think that's fantastic. I really do. I love what they're doing. But like I said, I'm not gonna pull out the credit card, even though I think they're doing really cool stuff. They're innovating. This company's innovating, and I really like the idea of what they're doing. But I need to actually hear the stuff in person. The Sable sounds way better than the Emerald X20. I have an Emerald Virtuo that's interesting. I'd like to try an Emerald X30. Gary says, my Emerald X30 sounds incredible. I like it more than the X20. I'd like to try one. Yeah, it's a bigger guitar, right? I'm sure it does sound better. It looks cool too. I love the specs. So on the Emerald, you can adjust the intonation, which is fantastic from the saddles. It's got stainless steel frets as standard. It's got a really interesting pickup in his guitar, which is a K&K and a Ghost piezo pickup, which is a great way to blend the two together. Great. Nice ergonomics. Made in Ireland. So yeah. I'm sad that Rainsong have closed, but I'm optimistic for the future of carbon guitars because I feel like what Emerald and Close are doing is more innovative, and yet they still are sticking with tradition. I mean, more so with Close, I suppose. It still looks like a guitar. I remember years ago, I went to NAMM when I saw Rainsong there. Maybe 2016-ish, 2017. And I went around all the carbon, because carbon was new to me. So I went around all the booths, and all the carbon guitars looked like something from Star Trek. I hated them so much. I was like, what? I was like, what's that? Why is it pointy? And why has it got all these weird, like, what? I don't get it. I don't want that. I mean, I always say attitudes, opinions change. I used to like Relic, now I don't. Maybe one day I'd like to play a really futuristic looking guitar. Now, I've got the Cole Clark Hybrid, right? That looks very futuristic. That looks kind of quirky. But I just remember thinking how they all looked. They just didn't appeal to me at the time, coming from the wood guitars. But the Emeralds really appeal to me. For me, it's more the weight that puts me off them. And I love the adjustable saddles though. And the close really appeals, because the close to me is a Rainsong, but with those improvements that I asked them to make. Stainless steel frets, gig bag, detachable neck, which is I didn't think I would need that. That's a great idea, because you don't need the neck to be attached on the carbon guitar. You can just take it off, right? Because it's carbon. And what was the other thing? Yeah, they're not using the side door pickup. So if they stop making the Stage Pro Anthem, it won't matter. I think they install the Anthem like a regular install. Or you can just install your own Anthem at some point. I don't think I'd get an Anthem on the guitar these days. I think I would just get the guitar, make sure I like the guitar, and then install the Anthem SL if there's nothing better at the time. So yeah, so to summarize what I'm trying to say here, because I'm rambling, I'm sad that Rainsong are closing. I wish them the best. I need to call Dave and catch up with him. If they're retiring and have a good life, then I wish them all the best. They made a good impact on the industry. There's a lot of people that are still getting their head around things like carbon guitars, but we do now have new companies that are flying the flag. And I'm excited to see where it goes. But I just love the idea. I love the idea of I love the idea of a carbon electric and carbon acoustic. As long as they sound good. I mean, there's so many benefits, When you have a lot of wood guitars, like filling the humidifier is a pain in the ass. Buying those humidipacks is damn expensive, especially, and it's all getting more expensive, right? And then especially if they've got stainless steel frets, because then having your frets polished and crowned and refretted, this is all expenses that can be avoided and all time that you're saving. So I really think I really do think they're the future. And I really think they sound good now. I still say they sound different to wood, but they sound good. And I think some people will actually prefer them. I just think the big problem is many people can't get their head around the fact the guitar is made of carbon fiber and isn't made of some exotic wood with marten on the headstock. That's the problem. David said, at some point in life, I'd like to have one wood guitar and a few. Yeah, that's that. Well, that's exactly how I feel, David. That's kind of where I'm headed to. That's where I'm headed to. You know. Um. Um. Like I said, the stage guitar. The stage guitar with stainless steel frets. The stage electric guitar with stainless steel frets, and then a Fender and a Martin, just because I'm a fan of those companies. Probably will rarely play them, honestly. And a carbon guitar. The reason I have this guitar, by the way, they didn't they didn't pay me to hang this guitar behind me. The reason there's always a Rainsong hanging behind me is, now I think about it, it's kind of weird, right? Because I don't play that guitar very often. The reason it's hanging there is, well, A, there's a light switch there and it hides it, so I need a guitar hanging there. I want a guitar hanging there because it will indicate to the viewer that I'm a guitar player channel. And the reason is it won't damage. It can just hang there. It won't warp, it won't crack, it won't get fret spray. That's the reason. And if I do need to play, yes, I grab it down and play it. But I don't usually play at home much anyway. I'm usually out playing a gig, right? So, but that's why that guitar hangs there, because it won't be damaged. The other guitars are in their cases with expensive humidipacks, and that kind of sucks, because then you play them even less because they're in cases. I remember when Rainsong started, I got the sample CD from Hawaii. Wow, thought they sounded too bright. Yeah, but it's just like the thing I said about the Helix, right? The Helix you buy today is a completely different device to what you bought in when it was released. And the Rainsong you buy today is a completely different guitar to the Rainsong you bought when they were released, because they've changed the way they make them. They've changed the process. I'm sure they've changed the materials slightly and the mixture of everything. Wrong word, but you know what I'm trying to say. And that's one of the things people say about Maitland and Cole Clark. Oh, they say, I played one in 2005. They sounded terrible. Well, they're made so differently now. So try one again, please. I've never played an Ovation, and the rounded back puts me off. The idea of the rounded back, but I've never actually played one, Kev, so I don't really have an opinion. Sorry. The Emerald was light, but not 100%. It was way lighter than the Sable. Well, that's good to know. The Sable's heavy. HPL gives you ample bulletproof with more than... Yes, that's true. So that's what Martin are doing, isn't it? Using HPL. HPL is more impervious, but not completely, right? HPL will still get fret spray and will still crack if it gets dry enough, I think. You know, carbon fiber is the most impervious, isn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong. The 3D builder on the Emerald site is the best thing ever. I agree. It is cool. Choose the model, choose the features, and build a mock-up to see how it looks. Then order that. But my only fear with that, Gary, is that you're building something on a website and they're shipping it from Ireland, and then are you going to like it? That's the problem. Like the Close guitar, they do have a return policy. I think you have to pay the shipping. They have a return policy. So, you know, and they're in America. So that's easier to try one of their guitars, for sure. They did offer to loan me one. Maybe I should just borrow one and see it. I mean, if it absolutely blew me away, you know, but I don't know. I have to think about it. Because if it blows me away and I want to make loads of videos on it, I don't know if I want to go down that route right now either. Again, it's just more work, isn't it? More work to sell this one, get that one, make the videos, and then I feel like I'm promoting the guitar. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to do it. And no one's really spoken about Close. And I see they've done loads of yeah, that's the thing with Close. Like, again, between us, not because this is obviously just me and you, 15 people here. No one else is watching ever. But they had a big guitar magazine demo one the other day, and the guy played really well, and the video was well done. But he plugged it in with a Fishman pickup. The demo was the guitar plugged in through the Fishman pickup. So why, they're not doing themselves any favors. They need someone to actually compare it to a Martin, to record it with microphones, do some blind testing, and all this kind of stuff. Like, why would you pay someone to make a demo and they demo the Fishman pickup? Again, nothing against Fishman, but I'm sure even they would admit that when you're reviewing the acoustic guitar, you want to hear the mic'd acoustic and not the direct out from the undersaddle pickup, right? Kind of strange. The Virtuo sounds great as an electric, not as an acoustic. Need to try it with acoustic. So those guitars, like all the hybrid guitars, are always a trade-off, because they're always going to sound better with 12s for the acoustic stuff. They're always going to sound better with 10s, electric 10 strings for the electric stuff. It's just the way it is. It's never. And I'm not saying that's. I'm like my guitar, my Cole Clark hybrid. I'm not saying it sounds bad. I put some videos up that you've seen. I think it sounds incredible. But even then, the 10 acoustic strings for me will never sound as good as if I had like 12 acoustic strings on. And those 10 acoustic strings won't ever be as good as 10 electric. You know where I'm going? Now, that's if you're judging it as a pure electric and a pure acoustic, which obviously you can't do because it's a hybrid guitar. It's its own beast, right? That sound that you get. Although the electric sound does sound very much like a Strat, and the acoustic sound sounds like a fantastic plugged-in acoustic sound, that's just, you have to really just judge that guitar on what it is. It's not fair to say, well, it doesn't sound as good. It's like saying the Helix. So it's like saying, well, the Fender Twin model in that through my PA doesn't sound as good as a real Fender Twin in the room. Yeah, because it doesn't. It's not the same thing. You got to judge it on what it is and what it can do. Ovation sounds okay, but horrible to place that down. Lots of slippage. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You'd have to use a strap. You can return emeralds. So is that free to do? Is it free to return them? Like you just send them back and you get all the money back? Or do they deduct the shipping and some kind of fee? That video, yeah, David saw that video. It did. This is just me ranting. This is a personal rant. There's nothing, this is just me being completely 100% honest and open about the whole YouTube thing. Like, if you're going to send a guitar and pay a company to make you a video and they plug it in for the demo and they're showing the guitar as an acoustic guitar, they're actually going to cost you sales. So how about working with me and I'll do some I love the videos I did, like the blind test comparison to a Martin, and then microphone recordings, and then you can demo the pickup as well. Of course, you can do that, but the fact that they use that for the video review, I don't know. I do think, I don't sound arrogant, but again, gonna be completely honest, and that's just how I'm feeling right now. I've told you all I'm selling a lot of stuff. I am not gonna sell loads of stuff and then go out and buy a couple of carbon fiber guitars just to make content on the channel. Because at the end of the day, let's face it, I'm promoting those guitars if I like them. And if I don't like them, I'm going to send them back anyway. If I kept them, it's because they're amazing. And at that point, I'm then promoting that brand for free. I'm just not, not that I want to stop doing YouTube altogether, but I want to do more of this. I want to do more videos about stuff that I'm using. Yes, I bought the HX Stomp, but that's because I need it for my, for what I'm, for my work. Like if I get called for a band gig tomorrow, I'm going to take that to that job. So that's why I got it. So I'd rather make videos about that, because it's something that I'm actually going to be using. And I kind of have enough stuff to talk about in videos. And even if I'm just doing live streams or whatever, I don't need to buy, an emerald and a close guitar to make more videos on. I just don't need to do it. It was the same with the Tone Master Pro. That was that video did really well. But at the end of the day, I just kind of said that I didn't really recommend it. That's not a positive video. It's not the kind of video I want to make. I did it because it's such a hot topic, and I thought that could be useful information for people because no one had made that video yet. And also the video did well because it did better than I thought it would, but it did well because no one else made that video. But at the end of the day, that video didn't really help me in any way. I bought the thing, I sent it back, I lost some money shipping it back again. It's like, they're not really the kind of videos I want to do. But if someone like Close wanted to and when I say work with me, I don't mean like with that guitar magazine, like send me a guitar, I make the video and send it back. I mean, I'd want to try the guitar for a month. And do I really like it? If I really liked it, then I'd like to showcase it and show it on here to everyone that's watching as a consideration for them to buy. It'd be more of a long-term relationship thing for that. So yeah, it did. But the problem is that guitar had just the basic Fishman undersaddle, which we know doesn't have a microphone or any sort of impulse response. We know it's not going to sound the best plugged-in sound direct anyway. But their video was really showing the guitar as a guitar, not as a stage guitar. So I don't understand at all why they didn't just mic it up. It's absolutely mind-blowing, isn't it? Are you ready for this? I'm going to do it. Hang on. Why would a professional guitar magazine that is paid a lot of money, I don't know how much, but obviously paid money, it's their job, they're a well-known, established guitar magazine. Why would you send them a guitar and pay them to demo the guitar to their viewers? And it's not like they didn't know what they were doing. The presenter was very well spoken, very knowledgeable, a very good player, very good video quality. Everything about it was awesome. But they plugged it in. Why would you demo an acoustic guitar and not use a microphone on it? Now, at some point in the video, you could show the pickup to say, this one's got a Fishman. This is what it sounds like in case you're interested. But why would you plug in for the whole demo? It makes no sense. I actually can't even... I'm not being mean. I just can't even fathom what they were thinking when they did that. It just absolutely blows my mind. And are Close happy with that? I mean, if I was Close, I'd say, can you re-record it and use a microphone, please? Because you're not showing the guitar, you're showing the plugged-in sound. And all undersaddle pickups sound the same plugged in anyway. Okay, I'm done. Parker's can be great acoustic with work and electric. Works great. Yes, but you do like the sound of the undersaddle pickups, so that helps that as well. And you need the processing from the modeler, I'm sure. Been giving my Rick Turner Renaissance. Sorry everyone, I'll translate. I've been gigging my Rick Turner Renaissance RS6 acoustics for over 7 years. Every time I try one of my others, I go back to them. And it's interesting because the Rick Turner has the undersaddle pickup. So you're used to that undersaddle pickup sound. And yet you still didn't like that demo of that Close. I just think it's crazy. Yeah, check out that video, Close Guitar. If you search by date on YouTube, you'll see it come up from, I think it's Guitar World, and the whole demo is through the pickup. I can't believe it. I'm not being mean. I just don't. What is the thought process? I'm also not being mean because what I'm saying here is that company are very smart. They've been around a long time. The guy's a great player. They have great production. Why would they have all that and then plug it in? Unless you're showing the pickup system exclusively, in that case, label that video as pickup demo of Fishman pickup, and then make another one showing the microphone sound of the guitar. I don't know. I just really confused. I'm kind of, I don't say mean. I'm not being mean. I'm just confused why they would think like that. So weird. Rex was tempted by Emerald. It was too much to try without some. I agree. But Gary likes them, and that the fact that Gary likes them and got two and really liked them, and I liked how they looked, and I loved all the specs on paper. I was really, really close to. In fact, I did reach out to them. I reached out to them with a question about their electronics, and they didn't get back to me. So that was a bit of a concern to me. Again, just being completely transparent. I didn't say, hey, send me a guitar. I said, can you tell me about the preamp in the guitar like Gary has? I didn't say your name, Gary, but I said, can you tell me about that preamp? and they said they'd let me know when the guy got back to work, and they never did. And then I read that they're also over £5. And I know. I play 3-hour gigs, and I just like a guitar that's, four to £4.5. That's just my preference. If I were the company, I would say you showed half the guitar. Please redo. Yeah, exactly. I'd say, can you redo the video with nice microphones, and then can you just show the pickup, for 30 seconds at the end, just for those that are interested. What we really want to see is the guitars and the 3 pickup options, don't we, in one video, so we can make a decision if we want to buy one or not. Oh, you retyped it. Okay, autocorrect. Your Rainsong review was helpful. If Emerald would send you one, it'd be helpful for viewers in the US. Otherwise, I'll have to wait for a trip to Ireland. Yeah, maybe I'll reach out to him. I'm disappointed that Close didn't reply to my last email at all. I am. I don't want to sound arrogant, but I do feel I'm just being completely honest now. I have something to offer here. I have a nice camera and a nice interface. I know how to play the guitar to a certain degree, and I have a couple of other guitars still that I can compare them to, including the old Rainsong. And I just think it'd be great to find what I would recommend as the next carbon that I would recommend. Because I can't recommend Rainsong anymore. They're not going to be available anymore. So I would like to find a replacement. I'm not desperate because that's not my main guitar. My main guitar is my stage guitars, and after that probably my Martin. But honestly, I tend to just grab the stage guitar from the gig bag 99% of the time. Then I'd probably grab the Martin after that, just because it's a nice looking guitar. And then I would grab this off the wall if I just wanted to grab something quickly. So that's not my priority. Now, who's to say those guitars wouldn't blow me away and it becomes my main guitar? That could happen. But at the very least, it'd be nice to have a new carbon guitar that I can recommend to people and say, so when people say, what should I get? You can't get Rainsong anymore. I can say, well, my next choice is so-and-so. And that's the kind of angle that I was going for. But I don't really personally want to spend thousands of dollars to have that, The pickup in the Turner sounds way better. But don't forget, you're also used to that. You've played that guitar so long, so many times. I find this a lot. When I go from a great sounding pickup to a great sounding pickup, sometimes it's the fact that they're just different. And my ear is so tuned in to a certain pickup. You have to give yourself a while to readjust. Especially now I'm using like in-ear monitors. So if I'm using the in-ear monitors and I got that guitar right in both ears like that for 3 hours a night, I get so used to that sound and feel. And then you switch to a completely different guitar and pickup system. Of course, it's shocking to the ears can't really get their head around it. So you definitely have to give things a break-in period when you change to something new. Michael says, with gigging players, understand why they show the guitar with just the pickup, but they should have started unplugged and mic'd up and second with the pickup. Exactly. The way I would do it, Michael, is I would play it acoustically through microphones, no processing. Then I may compare it to a wooden guitar, just so people have some sort of a reference point. And then I would say, this one has a pickup. Let's just hear the pickup for 30 seconds, just so you can hear what the pickup sounds like. They also offer this pickup and this pickup, right? Because they do the Fishman Undersaddle, the Anthem, and the K&K. So Gary says the weight of an Emerald may be heavier than a light acoustic, but none of these are offensive on a strap. I just finished 5 gigs in a row. No complaints. Yeah. I don't think it'd be a deal breaker for me. I'm just surprised that a carbon guitar is over £5, and that's all. Because the Rainsong is under £4. That Rainsong is stupid light. I'm almost going to say it's too light. It's like you're wearing nothing. Like you're wearing fresh air. So I think that one is £3 something, or certainly very, very low £4. Most acoustics are £4 to £4.10, I guess, which isn't far off the emerald. To be fair, I'm not sure exactly what the emerald weighs, and it does have the 2 pickups in it. But yeah, I think it's more for me. I'm just surprised. Always a risk to buy from a distance rather than hands-on. I've been lucky with online buys, thankfully. I've had so many guitars that had to go back, like with issues. I had one. I had one that I haven't spoken about. I don't know. I'm not going to talk about it, but I asked the guy for a week to check the guitar, and it got to the point where he thought I was being a bit weird about it, that he didn't check it. And then he said to me, "Well, why you keep asking me to check? Almost like why would there be a problem with a new guitar?" And it showed up, and what happened? It had a problem. So yes, you have to be careful. And then some places will just take it back and give you all your money back. I've had a few guitars arrive that had issues, and they just gave me the money back, gave me a label, gave me the money back. That's fine. It's just your time you're losing. If you're okay to lose the time, that's okay. But the time is annoying as well. All right, so you can order a custom emerald and you can still send it back. Okay. I'm certainly up for trying one at some point, but I'm personally more interested in the close. I love the fact, because I was thinking about like travel guitars. So with the close, the fact you can take the neck off, it then becomes a travel guitar, and it has that lightweight, and it has more of a kind of simple look, a bit like the Rainsong. But I would like to try an emerald as well, and a McPherson. Flux says, "Hi Aaron, hope you're doing good. Have you ever tried Takamine acoustic guitars?" Yes, and they usually, again, are very heavy. They usually don't really do much for me. I have one right now, which is the one Noel Gallagher used to play, the red one. Looks amazing. Yeah, it's funny. Everything people say about Maton and Cole Clark being heavy and overbuilt, that's not true. It's actually more true with like the Takaminis. But again, the ones I've played, maybe there's some that are built lightly and sound great. I've tried a couple of Takaminis and they've been very heavily built, very heavy guitars. Sound okay, but just I don't know. I think they could use some changes personally. But I haven't played all the models, so it's only based on the 2 or 3 that I've ever played. Patsy Smith, see you later. Have a good night. Return shipping is usually a cost to the buyer. Yes, unless there's a problem. If there's a problem with the guitar, and I've had so many guitars arrive with problems, that then the store covers that as well. They cover everything because it's their fault. I got sent a Cole Clark once with it was broken, like there was a crack in the bottom of it. So I mean, maybe that happened in shipping. Maybe it happened, but they just didn't notice it in the store. I gotta say, there's so many. I've had so many guitars where they just haven't checked it at all. They haven't tested it. It's so quick to check a guitar. Now, I know a lot of stores get a lot of guitars in, but it doesn't take long to plug it in, check the strings, check the controls, check the intonation, check play up the neck. What is that, 5 minutes? And then you're done. And then the buyer knows they're getting something that's good to go. So I've had so many guitars that have had issues with those things. Stupid things that never should have happened. So it's only fair, really, that they should pay to have it shipped back again. I think the stores should check it. Like Sweetwater have their inspection process, right? And sometimes I think, I wish they didn't. Sometimes I think, well, Martin inspect the guitar, and then Sweetwater inspecting the guitar and taking the photographs. It's actually adding opportunities for damage to occur as well. But and even then, I've had I've had some issues with like Sweetwater guitar. They've always replaced it on the spot or paid to have it fixed or whatever. But even then, things can slip through the net, right? So there's not really a good answer, I suppose. But the lesson that I'm trying to impart here is that I have had many issues, and you really have to, when you get a guitar, I would actually recommend you put your camera on and open it and check it all over completely for 10 minutes before you even play it, just to document that if there is a problem. And of course, the other thing to remember is that some people don't care about certain stuff. some people are okay with the guitar arriving, or don't notice. I should say don't notice. Like some people might have a problem with their pickup, like a weak high E string, and they don't notice it. But then I do know. It's like when I said earlier about the Rainsong. I drilled the hole to make the E string come through louder, and I asked them to do that on their guitars. And a lot of people just never even. I didn't notice it on the first Rainsong I had, and then I realized it later on. So sometimes this stuff is also about how tuned in you are to things like that, which is not always a good thing, I suppose. Custom emeralds have 20% restocking fee. Good to know. Stock guitars are fully refunded, both within 10 days. You need to cover the return. Ah, okay. So you do have to pay to ship it back, and that's going to Ireland. So that's what's holding me back with the emeralds. And it's the same with the close. You have to pay to ship it back, but it's only going to America, so it's not as bad. Please hit me up on the Cortex Cloud if you'd like to try some of my captures. I've got a nice twin Reverb, Marshall, and Freeman. Nice. Oh, they're all amps that I like. I'd love to try those. What's your name? Can you add me? Aaron Short Music. Aaron Short Music. Add me. The best pickup on the Emerald, in my experience, is the Graphtec Ghost with the K&K. Each pickup has its own volume knob, so you can blend. Yeah, that does appeal. I bet it sounds great. Yeah, like I said, Gary, I love the adjustable saddles. I love the ergonomics. I love the idea of that pickup system. It all sounds great. My only two things are the weight and return shipping if it didn't work out. That's the two things. And then the close guitar, like I said, I like the fact you can take the neck off. I like the fact they look a bit more kind of plain. And I like the fact they're in America, so they're easier to send back. But anyway, all the best to Rainsong guitars. I'm going to end it here because I have to get ready for my show. So I'm going to say good night. I'll see you back here again next week, hopefully. And we'll talk about these Black Friday. There's so many guitars that are on crazy discount right now. And you can only imagine that on Black Friday, there'll be even more, right? So perhaps we'll talk about that next week. And next week, we're back to the regular time of 4 p.m. EST. So have a great week. If you're new here, please subscribe and ring the bell. Really appreciate it. That's been really good lately. Things have been going well in that regard. So if you're not subscribed, do subscribe. Ring the bell so you'll be notified when I post a video or go live. And next week's live will be back to 4 p.m. So I'll see you then. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Great Flux. I will check those out. I like those amps. Very cool stuff. Cheers, Nick. Cheers, Maple. Cheers, everyone. Thanks for hanging out. It's always fun. I'll see you again soon. Take care and be well. Bye-bye.
I'm not